Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, here in our beautiful home and playground, the Forest of Dean. A while ago I shared my Christmas holiday project building a gravel bike with a BXT carbon frame and a mix of AliExpress and UK sourced parts. That video got a fantastic response and loads of questions, so I thought it was about time I gave you a proper update. It's now been just over 6 months and I've covered around 2,000 kilometres. That's about 1,250 miles on this bike. So here's my long-term review. Let's start with the frame. It's the BXT Carbon Gravel 135 in a size 52. I am so impressed with this frame. After 2,000 kilometres there are no cracks, no strange noises, nothing loosening up. It's been solid and rides smoothly. The geometry is spot on for me and really comfortable, whether I'm on long gravel rides or cruising on the road. I don't go easy on it either. I've pushed the frame hard on single track and rooty rocky trails and it's handled everything without complaint. And of course I can't forget to mention the looks. I mean, just look at this bike. It is gorgeous and I always get loads of comments on it. It's definitely a head turner as well as a solid performer. I'm running the Sensah SRX Pro 12-speed 1x Groupset with a 40-tooth chainring and an 11-46 Sunshine cassette. The cranks are 165mm, which really suit me and feel spot on for both gravel and road. On the road, the shifting is smooth and consistent with no awkward gaps between gears. On gravel, it's been just as reliable, and even on steep climbs it hasn't let me down. I did have one little hiccup with the gears. I don't know if I knocked something or what happened, but after re-indexing them, they were absolutely fine. Up to date, there's been no unexpected wear. Everything still feels tight and precise. For wheels, I chose the Elitewheels Gravel ENTs. They're entry level with a 35mm rim depth. Elitewheels have garnered a great reputation and with good reason. These have stayed perfectly true despite plenty of gravel abuse and rocky trails. Not bad for what are technically entry-level wheels. If you remember from my previous video, the original brake calipers were in Erie. I swapped them out for TRP HY roads, which provide excellent stopping power and have been completely dependable. I paired them with ZRACE rotors, which also perform well. The only issue is that the front one has developed a bit of a squeal, which no amount of sanding or cleaning has managed to fix. I have even replaced the pads several times to no avail. I suspect it may be slightly bowed, so I'll have to replace it in the future. If you've ever had a noisy disc, you know how annoying it is. Everyone can hear me coming from a mile off. The original bottom bracket developed a bit of a clicking noise. There was no roughness or any other problems, just an odd sound. It was more of an annoyance than anything else. I don't think there was actually anything wrong with the part, but I ended up replacing it with a SRAM one instead. The tyres are Schwalbe G-One Bites in 45mm. The frame is spec'd for 47mm clearance, but there's still loads of room. I think I could even run 50mm without an issue. Honestly, I love these tyres. I've got them on all of my gravel bikes. They're fast enough on tarmac, but bite really well off-road. They very rarely slip and have great traction. They're good in mud, they're good in dry conditions. So they're kind of the best of both worlds, really. The Ryet Ultimate saddle deserves a mention too. It's my favourite saddle. I've now got it on all of my road and gravel bikes. Of course, saddles are personal, but this one just suits me really well. Finally, the ToSeek flared carbon bars. They give me a really comfortable position on both the hoods and the drops. The flares mean that they are on the wide side, which sometimes makes narrow gateways a bit tricky. I occasionally have to lift the front end up to squeeze through, but on the flip side, that width actually comes in handy when riding through overgrown areas, because the bars take the hit instead of my arms getting scratched up by brambles and branches. Now let's go through a few of the questions you guys have asked up to date. How much did the build cost in total? All in all, the build cost £1,350, which I think is great value for what you get. At current rates, in September 2025, that is about $1,800 US. That's 1,550 euros thereabouts, just to give you a ballpark figure if you're overseas. How was the delivery of the frame? A few people have asked about delivery, and honestly, it was absolutely fine. I paid about £70 to have it delivered by DPD, and that included the prepaid duties. It was really quick, easy and smooth. I think I'd avoid the China Post option because that can take months to arrive. With the DPD option, mine arrived in about a month and was completely hassle-free. What is the weight? Mine comes in around 9 kilograms. That's about 20 pounds. And I've realised that I don't actually like something super featherweight, so this is just right for me. On gravel, the extra weight makes me feel more grounded and solid, and on the road I feel safer and less blown around by the wind. So I take sturdy over twitchy any day. Can the frame take 160mm discs? I'm running 140mm. The fork takes 160mm. It's a bit tighter at the back, especially with my TRP calipers. The frame isn't actually spec'd for 160mm, but depending on your setup, you might be able to squeeze it in. Why not a 2x setup? I wanted to keep things simple and low maintenance. And honestly, even on steep climbs and on the road, I haven't missed a front derailleur at all. How is the Groupset holding up? Really well. After 2,000 kilometres, the shifting is still really crisp. Nothing feels sloppy, and apart from that one slip before re-indexing, it's been completely reliable. I'd trust it on any ride. What is it like for climbing on gravel? On gravel climbs, it's more than capable. The gearing feels spot on, and I've never felt like I've run out of range. What is it like on the road? Fantastic! I often choose this bike over my road bike, which I didn't expect to when I first built it. I know a lot of people prefer a 2x setup because they feel they can really fine-tune their gearing on the road, but to be honest, for me, the 1 Bite has been absolutely fine. There's no awkward gaps or jumps in the gearing, everything feels nice and smooth, and I've always got a comfortable gear. How are the headset bearings holding up? Really well. They're smooth and there's no play or roughness, which isn't bad considering some of the wet and muddy conditions I've ridden through. I'm not super precious with this bike. I do clean it regularly, but I don't do a lot of detailing, and I have yet to remove the headset bearings to give them a clean and re-grease because I just don't think they need it yet. Would you recommend BXT frames? In my experience, and bear in mind that I'm only talking about the one frame I've bought, yes, I would. That said, you do hear horror stories about carbon frames cracking mid-ride, but to be fair, I've heard of that happening with big name brands too. The difference is, of course, with a big brand, you're more likely to get proper customer service and backup if something goes wrong. I honestly don't know what the customer service would be like if anything did go wrong, so it's worth going into it with your eyes open. A question I'm often asked is if there's anything I'd change or do differently with the bike. To be honest, this bike is absolutely perfect for me. It's set up just right. The only thing I'd maybe like to try down the line is an electronic group set. There are some 14-speed electronic group sets already out or on their way, and I'm keeping an eye on them. I'd definitely be tempted to give one of those a try. I've also been tempted to put a suspension fork on it, just to give it a go. My husband has one on one of his gravel bikes and he really likes it. I know it would add a bit of weight, but I'm not too worried about that. The trade-off could be interesting. Honestly, the bike is really comfortable as it is. I don't think it needs a suspension fork, but it would just be a fun thing to try out. Finally, one of the questions I get asked most actually is about ride feel. My immediate response is that ride feel is completely subjective. I'm not you, you're not me, and what feels smooth and responsive to me might feel harsh or sluggish to someone else. I can give you some context. I'm almost 40. I hover around 57, 58 kilograms, depending on the day. That's about 9 stone. And I'm 169 centimetres tall. That's about 5'7". I've got long arms and legs. My inseam is 32 inches. That's about 81 centimetres. So I could be considered a bit gangly. I'd say I'm fairly fit and healthy. I've never had any broken bones. The only issue is I have a slight twinge in my right calf that plays up from time to time. For me, the bike is really comfortable. It handles really well and it's responsive. I can ride this bike on downhill single track and technical trails, and although I may not be the fastest, I find I can make quick adjustments to where I'm going and the bike responds straight away. It gives me the confidence that I can put it where I want it, even on technical trails. The carbon frame does a really good job of dampening vibrations so I don't feel jolted around. The carbon bars and seat posts help with that too, and of course tyre pressure makes a huge difference. I run my tyres tubeless and I tend to keep the pressure pretty low on gravel, usually around 25 to 30 psi unless I've just pumped them up in anticipation of a road ride. Running them lower like that really smooths everything out even more. There's a bit of flex in the frame. It's not enough to make me feel disconnected. It just helps with that grounded, solid feel that I like in a frame. And to be honest, in a gravel bike, I don't think a little bit of flex is an issue. Everything about the bike suits me really well, but of course it would, because I built this bike for myself with materials and dimensions that I know I'm comfortable with. The stem length, the flared handlebars, the crank length, the pedals I prefer, and of course my saddle. I'll give you an example of the subjectiveness of ride feel. One day, my husband Tom and I went out for a ride and we decided to swap bikes. He rode it for about 3 minutes and then he wanted his bike back. He found it uncomfortable, jarring, and he just wasn't enjoying the ride at all. Perhaps if he'd had his Redshift stem and seat post fitted to it, he would have enjoyed it more. But as it stands, he didn't like it. So that just goes to show that you can't rely on other people's opinions. In conclusion, I can tell you how I feel on this bike. I find it comfortable, it handles well, it's responsive, and I enjoy riding it to the point that it is my go-to bike. If you've ridden a bike with similar geometry and materials and you've enjoyed it, I'm pretty confident in saying that you will probably find this frame and bike comfortable and enjoyable to ride as well. But beyond that, I can't really say, because at the end of the day, ride feel is completely personal, and really, anything that I say about it is going to be completely useless to you. I've also had a few off-topic questions that I thought I'd address in this video. How do you plan your routes? I've actually covered this in a previous video. I'll put the link in the description, but the quick answer is I use OS Maps to plan my routes. What drone are you using? The Hover X-1 Pro. It's a fantastic little drone. It's tiny. As you can see, when folded, it fits in the palm of my hand, and it easily fits in your bib or jersey pockets. It's lightweight too, coming in at around 190 grams with the battery fitted. You can fly it manually with your phone or the joysticks, but its preset options are what makes this drone so easy to use and perfect for cycling.
Bird eye, dolly track, ski mode, cycling mode.
At the touch of a button, the drone takes off and carries out whatever function you have selected, whether it be following you as you ride or capturing an epic stationary shot. Although it will track you without, I use the beacon with mine, especially on fast descents where it can sometimes be a little slow at keeping up. It films in 4K, which is perfect for me. It's a great little drone and I love it. Let me know in the comments if you'd like an in-depth review. Which handlebar bag do you use? It's the Routeworks handlebar bag. I love it. You can see I've got all sorts in here. I've got my drone, I've got some snacks, lip balm, I've got like my toolkit and links, spare links, CO2, got tubes in there just in case, even though I'm tubeless. But yeah, there you go. I've got absolutely everything in here. It's easy to get in and out of while riding, has loads of space, and the quick release lets me move it between bikes really easily. I also like that I can mount my computer on top. It's on the pricey side, but mine was a birthday present and I think it's worth it. Honestly, I'd miss it if I didn't have it now. It is worth noting though that the bag isn't really supposed to be mounted on carbon bars, presumably because it might cause damage. I've taken the risk and so far I've had no problems, but I am keeping an eye on the bars just to be safe. What is your favourite cycling kit? I wear a mix of brands, some on the cheaper end and some more expensive. I go for quality and comfort. I really like Le Col, Café de Cycliste. I even have quite a few things from DHB. A lot of my cycling kit is actually from Siroko. I own a fair bit of their stuff and I'm an affiliate too, so I have a discount code available for your use. If you want to check them out, the link is in the description of this video along with the information on the discount. Right, so back on topic. That is a 6-month, 2,000 kilometre or about 1,250 mile update on my hand-built gravel bike. The geometry really suits me, it's comfortable and it's handled everything I've thrown at it, from smooth roads to rocky single track. Thank you very much for watching and all your comments and questions. Keep them coming, I really do enjoy reading them. If you like this update, please give me a thumbs up, and if you're new here, please subscribe. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye!